So words. Words are important. Words help us communicate to one another. It helps us to convey to another person or multiple people our thoughts, our feelings, our ideas, what exactly it is we want to believe, or to make someone else, convince someone else to believe how we feel or how we think or what our ideas and or ideals are. So, I have been listening to BBC, the C-SPAN, public radio, just to kind of keep myself from going insane. And I have noticed that people tend to use words, and I have to look at the radio and be like, I don't think that word means what you think it does. So, I've written down a few words, and I'm going to discuss, well, what it really means. And my first word is cost. I have been paying attention to the Russia-Ukraine, rest of the world issue that's been going on, and I noticed about a month and a half ago, probably end of May, beginning of June, that our president was insisting that there would be additional costs if Russia continues its invasion, essentially, of the Ukraine. And that bothered me. And this is why. Because there is a technical, the actual dictionary definition of a word, and then there's the implied definition of a word. Now, well, yes, the word cost is technically appropriate to the situation. It's not the appropriate word for the situation, because let me give some examples of implied definition of the word cost. When you go to buy a car, there is a cost of the car, what you're paying the dealership and or the bank. In the case of an auto loan for the car, there is the taxes and the titles and the smog if you live in those kind of states, the inspection, the insurance. These are all costs of buying a car. Costs is an indication that these are, things that you're willing to pay. When you go shopping, there is a cost to the food. Maybe not necessarily just in, money, but in the terms of calories and sodium and glucose and gluten and all that other happy bullshit. So these are things that you are willing to pay, not just in terms of money, but in just other issues. I'm sorry, politicians out there, but the word cost is not the word you're looking for. When dealing with an invasion of a country, you are not looking at the Russia's invasion of the Ukraine has already been given thought, and the costs have been calculated. And those costs are in terms of lives that they're willing to give up in order to accomplish their task. I am sorry, politicians, but the word you're looking for is fucking consequence. You are not willing to pay consequences for your actions. If you are going to impose sanctions on another nation because of shit they're doing, you're not imposing a cost on them. It's a fucking consequence. Use the right terminology to get across your idea. Holy shit, people, that's a... Next word, organic. Got a friend of mine, he has a dictionary from the mid-1970s, and there are two definitions of the word organic. The first being the one that, hey, it's a naturally growing, occurring thing. It is a organic thing. You and me, we are organic beings. Wood is an organic thing. The second definition is that there is no chemicals involved in the production of that crop. Even if there are chemicals involved in it, people, it's still fucking organic. You can still eat it. It is still something that is organic. You come up with a different word for something that has no chemicals in it. Even the word natural. Natural might fit. But stop using the word organic like it only means that there were no chemicals involved in it. Your eggs, regardless of whether or not those chickens are free range or just plucked out of a cage that's barely big enough for their body is still organic. African American. This word bothers me more than the other two because our president isn't African American. He's a fucking American. If you are born in this country, if you're a native of this country, the United States of America, you are an American. The term African American, so far as I'm concerned, when it's being used by someone who is an American but happens to be black, is somebody who is continuing the idea of racism. You are separating yourself from the rest of the country. You are separating yourself from the rest of the people of your nation. You're not calling yourself, hey, I'm a fucking American. No, you're calling yourself an African American because you're separating yourself. You are continuing the idea of racism. I don't, because, really, if we're going to go into this, my ancestors came from Great Britain. Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England. So, if you're an African American and your family has been here for 200 years, well, my family's been here about that, if, maybe a little less than. So, does that make me a British American and I get to separate myself from everybody else? Sorry, but no. You're a fucking American. Get over it. Peace.